Hello, welcome to week 5. Today we're going to be talking about telehealth, and you all will get the opportunity to go ahead and make your own Zoom recording of your telehealth experience with your partner. So let's go ahead. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to look at the assignments for this week. So on week 5, you'll see that you can read McGon the McGonagall's text, chapter 18, that will have to do with the telehealth and remote monitoring. Then you're going to go ahead and look at your topical outline, your PowerPoints, and then you're going to review your telehealth work article that's on slide 11 of your PowerPoint. So if you access the PowerPoint and go through it, there'll be a link on slide 11 for you to go ahead and read the planning your telehealth work. Okay. Then you can also review the health equity and telehealth article through the link on slide 12. So it would be great if you could go ahead and just take a look at both of those articles. So then you're going to complete the telehealth mock interview Zoom recording. Now, I know that some of you have not had experience using Zoom. So if we go down here, you'll see that there's a Zoom recording basics video. If you want to learn more about Zoom, there's also, once you sign up for a free subscription, and please use your Cincinnati State email to do this because you have more things that you're able to do with a school subscription versus the individual subscription. So everyone has a free subscription to Zoom since you are a Cincinnati State student. And one of the advantages of that is that you do not have a time limit of how long your videos will be. So that will be helpful. Plus, you'll have access to more features that allow you to save your video on the cloud versus saving it on your computer. All right, so let's get back up and look at some of these other things that are going to be due. So you're going to do the telehealth. We'll talk about that. The actual interview, one student is going to act as the patient, the other is going to be the nurse. And we'll go ahead and talk through that in a minute. Then both will need to fill out this peer evaluation for the mock telehealth interview. So you will use the evaluation form and we will look at that just so that you see what you're going to be evaluated on. All right. And then you need to complete a reflection paper with a clinical note. So the reflection paper asks different questions that you need to respond to. The clinical note is if you were going to chart this interview that you had with the patient, what would you put on it? And so on our in your book, there's an example of a telehealth note. So you'll see that when you look at chapter 18 in McGonagall. All right, so let's go ahead. So there's your PDF topic outline, your slides, and now let's look at the telehealth instructions. All right, so as far as preparing for this assignment, there's another link to an article about communication in telehealth that you can go ahead and read. Then you need to make sure that you have the requirements as far as computer with a microphone and that you're familiar with the basic functions of Zoom. I will go ahead and peer you with another student, and I already created some patients, 5 of those, along with possible questions that the telehealth nurse might ask. So I can show you that in a few minutes. you can use those as guides, or you can make up your own questions, or you can even make up your own patient for that matter. Or you can use one that's already created. So it's really up to you. So as far as the session guidelines, each session should only be really 5 minutes. It can be up to 10 minutes, but what I want to see and what I want you to have the experience of is just how it is to be the nurse trying to assess someone that you are not physically in the room with, that you are assessing them over the video. And as a patient, I want you to see how it feels to not be in the room with the evaluator, to be at your home, and then, think about things from the patient's perspective as well. All right. So whoever sets up the interview or the Zoom account, well, you all have the account, but whoever sets up the Zoom session, they're going to send an invitation to their partner so that they're able to sign on to the Zoom session. Now, once you're on the Zoom session, there's a place that says participants at the bottom, and you're going to click on that. And when you see your partner's name, you're going to click next to their name and make them a co-host. And then both of you will have access to be able to move things around on the computer screen. All right. In the video, it tells you about Zoom not to click on the stop recording because that makes two separate videos. So if you would like to pause the video to talk to your partner about something, just hit the pause button, okay, not the stop button. And then when you are ready to record again, you just go ahead and click pause again, and it will pick up right where you had left off. All right. So as far as saving the recording, since you have a school account, will have the choice of either saving it to your computer or saving it to the cloud. I usually save it to my computer. It's just easier to upload on Blackboard, but you can do it either way that you would like. So remember that this is supposed to be a mock telehealth session. So you want to treat it as if it's really happening. So you want to find a private setting. You want to make sure that you ask for permission to talk to the client. All right. As far as documentation, you're going to complete a mock clinical note that summarizes the consultation, and you're going to be turning that in with your assignment. As far as evaluation criteria, you're going to focus on communication skills, the technological proficiency, and professionalism and ethics. Those are things that you're going to be evaluated on. And then post-session, you're going to do a reflection. So you do want to write the paper in APA format. And each of you need to write what went well, what challenges you faced, if there's anything technologically that you faced or anything that you noticed throughout the telehealth session, key learnings about the interview experience, and try to approach that from both the health care provider and the patient, being a patient. And then how you see telehealth benefiting or not benefiting patients in your own area of expertise. All right. Would you change the way that you conducted the visit? How would you do that with any of these situations? So you're going to choose one of these. These are discussed on your PowerPoint, and then you're going to address that. Then briefly describe a positive patient outcome cited in an article from CINAHL. All right, so you're going to look up an article using CINAHL, and you're going to post to Blackboard one that you chose that shows that, yes, telehealth was very helpful in a particular situation for a patient. Then you're going to go ahead and add the clinical note to the end of your reflection paper. and you're going to review it and the clinical note and ensure all criteria have been met. Remember, whenever you make a Word document, you want to use the editor to make sure there's no spelling or grammar errors to help it to be more professional. Then you're going to submit it. So it's best if you try to submit it within 48 hours of completing the session. If you start waiting to write it up more than that, you'll forget different things that happened during the session. You also want to submit your peer evaluation, which we'll look at for the other person. And then you're going to submit a copy of the Zoom video in MP4 format to Blackboard. All right, so let's go back to our week 5. And this is a copy of the mock patients and some questions that you can use if you would like to. So we see there's 5 patients. So your partner can choose, if they're the patient, which patient they want to be, or they can make up a patient of their own. They just need to include these different areas, like history, problem lists, medications, chronic conditions, signs and symptoms, okay? Then the nurse is going to have these key questions and essential information for each of the patients above. All right, so this just sort of did some of the work for you so that you can have specific questions that you can ask. You can change these questions. Again, the whole point of the experience is to see what it's like being a provider over online and being a patient online. All right. So that's what this paper is all about. It's going to just give the healthcare provider key information and questions for the client. All right, if we go down to the peer evaluation form and look at that, it's just a yes, no, where you're gonna, click in it, put an X in it, whatever you want to do. It's just asking, and this is, you're going to fill it out for the student acting as your healthcare provider. So the patient is going to fill this out. So you're going to ask yourself, did the healthcare provider introduce themselves, speak clearly, and on down the list? And you're going to put yes or no, and then you're going to go ahead and submit that to Blackboard. Just remember to put the person that you're evaluating and then your name on the document before you submit it, so that I will know that you get your points. You get 2 points for completing the evaluation. All right. We look down and here further, that was our Zoom video. This is where you're going to submit your telehealth mock interview. Remember, when you click on that, that is where you're going to find the rubric. So there's a rubric here. This is worth 7 points. And again, I'm able to click on the rubric, but you aren't going to be able to see it on this video. But the areas that you're going to be evaluated on are communication, use of Zoom features, confidentiality, professionalism, and submission of the Zoom video. So there'll be criteria on here telling you if you met the criteria, partially met the criteria, or did not meet the criteria, so that you'll be able to fix whatever you need to before you turn something in. All right. And let's see. I'm going to cancel this and go back here to the next place that you're going to submit something. And that is where you're going to submit the interview reflection paper. Again, as soon as you open this up, you're going to see the rubric where it says view rubric, and you're going to click on that and review it. So this assignment is worth 10.5 points. Then lastly is your peer. You're going to submit your peer evaluation for your partner, and that is worth 2 points. So that is what this week looks like. Hopefully, it will be a valuable experience for you and you'll get some new perspectives on what it's like being the healthcare provider as well as being the patient online. All right. So have fun with it, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.